Hi, this is Pat Baker, and we're going to talk about the ChangeMaker assignment. Essentially, how does a vending machine or a candy machine make the correct change? And I have another programmer with me, David.
How you doing?
And we're going to walk through some strategies. So, what's the goal? The goal is that the customer wants the least amount of coins coming out of that machine. So here's our scenario that we're going to walk through. We've bought our candy bar, and the change we should get back is 68 cents, and you don't want it in the...
Well, I don't want 68 pennies in my pocket, and I don't remember when I got a candy bar for 32 cents, but this is great.
This is great, yeah. Okay, so let's see, how would you break down 68 cents to get the fewest number of coins? And this little chart shows you what that would be, and instead of getting 68 coins in your pocket, you're going to have 7 coins, much better. So let's keep pressing on and see, how do you tell the computer to do this? Because you could probably do that in your head. So the way to handle this problem is to calculate your quarters first. So we're going to use the magic of integer division, because integer division only returns whole numbers. So if our total amount of change we're getting back is 68 cents, so how do we calculate the number of quarters using integer division, David?
Well, you know, each quarter is 25 cents, so you just want to see how many of those will go into 68. And you can do it in your head, but you say, well, 2 of them's 50 cents, the next one won't fit, so 2 quarters are in there.
Right, and if you did this on your calculator, 68 divided by 25 really gives you 2.72. But in Java, when you divide two integers, 68 and 25 are 2 integers, then it just gives you the whole number component or the integer component. And
which is perfect.
Yeah,
it's exactly
throws
what
away
we want.
all this. Yep. So how do we figure out, once we've got the quarters accounted for, how many cents are remaining? And you're going to use the modulus operator, because that's exactly what it does. So this little handwritten calculation here shows us how what the modulus returns. So we know we got 68 cents, and if we divide 25 into 68, we know it goes 2 times. That's your 2 quarters. 2 times 25 is 50, and our remainder is 18. So that's our remaining cents we've got to work with to figure out now how many dimes, nickels, and pennies.
So the first one, the integer division, threw away all the fractional parts.
Correct.
The one you just showed, it threw away the whole number side and gave me just the remainder that was left after I took out the modulus 25.
Correct. So here's exactly, we're going through the same scenario with dimes, nickels, and pennies. So with dimes, you're now working with 18 cents. So 18 divided by the value of dimes, which is 10, will give you 1 and some fractional component, but we don't care because it's integer division. The modulus gives you that remainder. So when we take 18 and modulus it with the value of a dime, then that's our remainder. And each time you're going through these steps, you're going to be working with the remainder until you get down to pennies. And you have to go through each of these steps no matter what the amount of change is. So if our assignment says, calculate it and our change is 52 cents, you're still going to go through all of these steps. So let's take a minute now to look at some code and give you some more strategies. I think I've got this set up. I'm going to stop the recording here. Okay, here we are in the program ChangeMaker. Please note all of the standard header information that you need to put in your code, so you'll be supplying that. Let's run it and see what it looks like. Okay. And let's put in our example, which was
68 cents.
68. And hopefully we're going to get good. 2 quarters, a dime, a nickel, and 3 pennies. So it appears to work. So let's see what we can do now to code it up. Okay, so we're back now to our code. And let's go ahead and the first thing we want to do is we've got a bunch of variables defined up here. Maybe that's the amount of change. This is we're going to use all these different variables. They're all integers. We're working with integer division. And we set up our keyboard to read input from the user. So our scenario is to prompt the user for data. Please enter an amount from 1 to 99. And let's go ahead and code what that would be. We know, looks like our variable is the amount, is called amount. And our scanner object is called keyboard. And we want to grab the next integer. So that'll grab the next integer when the user puts in the value. And let's just go ahead and preserve that original amount so we don't write over it. Let's fill in these next things. How do you calculate the number of quarters? So what's that going to be, David?
It's going to be the amount divided by 25. And you want to leave no decimal point because you want integer math.
Correct. So those are both integers. Amount's an integer, 25 is an integer. We'll get an integer as a result. How do I calculate the remainder?
Same idea, but you got to use the percent sign as the operator.
Correct.
Again, just integer on the 25, right? No decimal point.
No decimal points. So that's going to give us the amount of quarters. You're going to do the same for dimes and remaining cents and nickels and pennies. So hopefully that gets you started in your code. Let's run it again, make sure it still works. Let's put in a different value this time. Something you can do in your head. Let's say we've got 17 our change is 17. We're not going to get any quarters, are we? So your code should work with a lot of different examples, and you should test your code. So that looks like that's right. 1 dime is 10 cents, a nickel is 5, that's 15, and 2 pennies, 17 cents. Looks like we're good to go. See you in class.